All good to go? Okay. Right. Welcome, councillors. Welcome, officers. The meeting is being recorded and it will be live streamed and available on the council's YouTube channel. If there are emergencies and we have to leave the room, we do it through the door we came in or the door behind Janice and my backs. We meet out in the playground and we wait there until we need to go somewhere else. We will open the meeting with a karakia. The mihi o te rā. Ika whānau e hui hui. Kia tau te rangi māri e, kia whakata pua tātou. Mena mea e whakapano ana tātou. Okay, thank you very much. Now, at this stage, I have apologies from councillors Woodcock and Sadler-Footer. Do I have any other, please?
Yes, and Bex is just running. She's really very short.
Okay. Apologies for lateness from Councillor Gray. Do I have apologies for lateness from me? You're right on time.
I've only just started, so you're actually no.
You don't apologize for lateness when you're here. I'm here and done.
Do I have someone to move that we accept the apologies? Thank you, Councillor Holmes, a seconder. Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Plummer. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Are there any conflicts of interest? Being none, it isn't on the agenda, but normally we have acknowledgements and tributes at this stage. And so I am about to insert it into the agenda, and I wish to pay a tribute to Paul Dibble. Paul Dibble is one of New Zealand's foremost sculptural artists, and he died on Tuesday. His work is prominent in urban spaces right throughout New Zealand, and he is known for his sculptures in bronze. Now, in the South Wairarapa, greetings, welcome. He is known for Featherston Camp sculpture, which is on the main street of Featherston on your right as you head south. And that sculpture, which was done for the commemorations of 2018, is widely recognised as Paul's best work. Paul died on Tuesday. He was 80, and he has left his mark on the South Wairarapa as he has throughout New Zealand. Are there any other acknowledgements or tributes? Okay, there is no public participation because there is no public. Do we have anybody who wishes to add any extraordinary business to the agenda? So what we will now do is A7 on the agenda, which is to confirm the minutes. So we're confirming the minutes from meetings on the 16th of November and the 22nd of November. Now, do I have somebody to move that we accept the minutes? Thank you, Councillor. So that's Councillor Bosley and Councillor Maynard seconds it. Any discussion? Any corrections? Anything? Okay, all in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Could you note that I'm saying yes to the 22nd of November, but I count to the 16th because I wasn't there.
I understand. Now come to the public excluded minutes of the council meeting on the 22nd of November. Do we have somebody to move that they are referring to the record? Councillor Holmes, a seconder, please. Councillor Bosley. Any comments? Okay, all in favour of doing that, please say aye. And that's carried. Now,
maybe I'll abstain from that.
Okay.
Halfway through.
Are there any matters arising from any of the minutes we've just approved? There are not, so we'll come on now to section B of the agenda, which is reports from the Chief Executive and Council officers, starting with the annual report. Over to you, James.
Yeah, I would like to take the report as read. I believe you have all had the annual report at a previous meeting. There is only one significant amendment that we worked through with audit, and that was to transfer 1.2 million from capital to operations in the roading space. And that was to do with the impairment testing around the effects of the cyclone on the roads. So we had capitalised something, audit went through it and felt that that wasn't the right thing. So they had us transfer it to operations. So of course that then moves through various statements, but that's the only change that's happened since you saw it before. We also have a clean audit opinion that is included in the document in draft. Once we get through the meeting today, if you adopt the report and give the Mayor and I authority to sign the letters, then the report is adopted.
Councillor Olds.
Yeah, I think it's a comprehensive report, and I'd like to compliment Charlie and Karen and the finance team basically for getting this on. I guess like every year we get disappointed about the timing of the presentation of the annual report, which appears to be a Audit New Zealand problem and has existed now for a number of years. So I just want to make that comment. Thanks.
Can I just ask a question, Jess, which is when you say it's a clean audit report, even though the annual report itself is late, still regard it as
Yeah, it's this in the opinion itself. There are no breach notices or statements that say that you have been qualified in any way. So in the report itself, there is a breach statement that says that we didn't meet the 30th of October, but there are no impacts on council for not meeting the 31 October. You just have to report it as a breach, which we have done.
Councillor McCauley.
Oh, yes, and I agree with Councillor Olds. Congratulations to the staff, but I would also like to add congratulations to our new Chief Executive for helping get this across the line at this last point in such an orderly way. Thank you.
Right. So we've set up a 3-hour meeting. We'd better say something. Yeah.
It would be nice to send them. I'd like to propose we adopt a 1 to 7.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want something said, let's get on with it.
Okay, so Councillor Plimmer has moved recommendations 1 to 7. Councillor Olds has seconded. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay. No, thank you. And I shall put it. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Right. Okay, so now we'll come on to item B2, terms of reference and committee appointments. Who would you like?
Amanda, do you want to speak to the paper or take it as read?
I'm going to take it as read.
And would you like me to start off? So the reason it was taken forward is because of the last council meeting, we established the committee of the whole. But in order for it to actually operate, we needed to appoint various appointments so that officers will have someone who to actually work to between now and February. If we don't do it today, then we won't have, the officers won't have anyone to actually report to between now and February. And so then we've adopted in the first council meeting in February, which means that it wouldn't actually be operational until March. So that's why we brought this forward. And Amanda, well done in putting all this together. Bex and I had a long chat with Amanda about how this process. So that's why we've got this paper today. So all we need really is actually fill in the staff so that the thing becomes workable for our officers to keep the wheels of council moving over between now and February.
Through you, Chair, there was one significant amendment to the terms of reference that we made, which was the removal of a hearings committee. So we got some advice, and including from Janice, about our responsibility and at Councillor Alice's request, do we need a hearings committee? So we made the call that the committee of the whole or the strategy working committee can hear most items. And I spoke to Rick Meads, who had some concerns about hearings for some regulatory things, and we're okay. We believe we've put the requirements into the terms of reference, and we potentially have an opportunity to look at what would a combined hearings committee look like across 3 councils, because they meet so rarely for that regulatory work that we could do that as a combined committee, and that's something we'll explore.
I think the confusion has arisen, under the last council, there was not a single hearings done. So I was the chair of the hearings committee, which was the semi-judicial process of hearing a breach of the bylaw or something that we call these other things hearings, but actually they're just normal routine of submissions from people on the work that we do from day to day. So that's, the hearings actually has a judicial meaning to it. And I think that's where the confusion has arisen a little bit. And that's why I've always said I can't do what we call hearings, but actually they're not actually hearings. They're just normal work with council.
Can I just make a comment, because previous councils I've sat on, for instance, when we've had submissions for hearings for submissions on bylaws, etc., that's been the whole of council. Hearings for dog attacks and that sort of thing was set up. The hearings committee would deal with that. I was part of that committee in those days, and we had, I think, over the period of years, we only had a handful, probably a half dozen at the most, I'd imagine. Yeah, but they all had good outcomes at the end of the day, which was very pleasant. But that's a specialised area. It's not RMA hearings. RMA hearings have to be heard by with the commissioner, and but our regulatory ones, internal regulatory ones, do need a hearings committee for dealing with those issues.
Through you, Chair, that those regulatory hearings, bylaw breaches, do require the ideal situations that we have councillors who've attended the Making Better Decisions training provided by, who provides it?
Ministry for the Environment.
Minister of the Environment, but thank you. And they haven't, I know you followed up with the Mayor Connolly about, and I still haven't heard any that they're running any more trainings.
Yes, they did start to run.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it'll be one thing now with the new government as well.
Yeah, and I imagine at this point, Alistair, you're the only councillor with that qualification. I don't think anyone else has that qualification, which is part of the reason about thinking about it as a combined committee. Potentially we've got 1 or 2 councillors across the district region that would be able to fill those gaps.
Yeah, there's 5 across the region.
So, and the hearings, making good decisions requirement really is for RMA type hearings. It's not necessarily for our bylaw hearings.
It's recommended.
Well, no, I don't believe it is, and I dispute that, because over the years we've had a few councillors who've done their making good decisions courses, but they haven't necessarily sat on our internal committee, hearings committee, and I don't believe that should be a requirement. The cost of the course is excessive to do that in the first instance. The amount of, or the number of times that we actually do we get value for money out of that? And I don't believe we do, to be quite honest, because if we invest 4 or 5 grand in somebody getting accredited, I don't, for the amount of hearings we actually have, I don't think it should be a requirement. And therefore, I think any appointments to those internal bylaw hearings, for instance, you shouldn't necessarily have to have that qualification. That's what I'm saying.
I would agree with you, Colin. I think the Making Good Decisions course is specific to RMA.
Correct.
Sense.
That's the focus.
The issue about bylaw hearings, when there's a breach of a bylaw, that's a judicial process, and those decisions that are made by council can be appealed to the district court.
Correct.
So it's a very different stream.
Absolutely.
Enforcement.
Yeah.
Or judicial process.
So I'm sorry, Amanda, I disagree with you, but
Yes, if you see the slight differences in the two, one's very much a judicial process.
In terms of the portfolio leads, can I ask why there's not a portfolio lead for climate change?
And that would be,
That fit under the community and environmental wellbeing.
Yeah.
So it's been.
Contested.
Oh, are you able to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if I can answer that. So when we were talking about the different structures and trying to get sort of more streamlined, the previous setup with a committee for infrastructure and community services was massive and had a huge amount of work. And then the climate change and environment, whilst very good, didn't have much of a portfolio to work with. So we've kind of divided that up a little bit and we've left infrastructure standing on its own and then rolled in the, I guess, community services part with the environmental climate change as well.
thanks.
Would you, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, would you prefer to have climate in the name? Do you feel that it needs to be, or do you feel that environmental wellbeing covers it?
No, I think the environment is something that's different to climate change issues that are obviously related. Yeah, I would prefer to see the word climate.
Climate in there somewhere?
So community, climate and environmental well.
Yeah, community, climate and environmental wellbeing.
Yep. Send the right signals.
Yeah, and then it shows it's not like it's dropped off or anything, it's still there, right? Is that possible, Amanda? Yeah,
Absolutely.
fabulous.
So we have 8 recommendations. Do I have someone to receive the council terms of reference and committee appointments report? I do. Councillor Plimmer, Councillor Maynard seconds that. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Now we can't proceed to 2 to 6 until we've got some names in the boxes. So who is going to be nominated to be chair of the strategy working committee?
I'd like to propose Melissa.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Okay, thank you. Do I have a second nomination? I don't, so we'll put it to the vote that we appoint Councillor Sadler-Footer to be chair of the strategy working committee. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Now, as I would suggest, we already have a chair of the CEO Employment Committee.
I'd appoint Kay again.
I would move that Kay remain in that position. Do I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Ealams. Any second nomination? We don't, therefore, I move.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think there was actually any change to the chairing of the committee. It was to appoint somebody else to the committee, which was Aidan. That was what was changed. In the actual, so if you look in the terms of reference, it's the addition of the Aidan to that committee. So it was appoint him to be on the committee.
That's right, but we've already done that.
But Aidan was already on it?
Not formally. That was just.
No, that was the employment.
Yeah.
That was purely just for the.
Yeah, not formally.
Right,
So not formally, so we were formally on it, so.
Okay, right.
Only informed.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
I
I second that. All right.
never mind. Okay, well, let's just tidy that up then. So recommendation 3 that we appoint Councillor Ealams to the CEO Employment Committee. Do I have a second? Thank you. Everybody seconds.
I think it's going to go through.
Take your choice.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, go around.
I'm sitting in the right place.
All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we come to the portfolio lead for infrastructure. Do I have a nominee there?
Aidan, Ealams, so.
Councillor Ealams has been nominated. Is there a second? There is. Councillor Maynard. Do we have any? We don't. So therefore, I'll put it to the vote that we appoint Councillor Ealams to be the portfolio lead for infrastructure. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's passed. Now, do we need a motion to change item 5 to community, climate and environmental wellbeing, or can we take that as?
We can take that as.
Recommended, yeah,
Thank you.
amendment,
So we need a nominee for the portfolio lead.
Rebecca,
yeah, councillor Gray.
You have councillor Gray nominated by councillor Plummer, councillor Maynard seconded that. Do we have a second nominee? Yes.
All votes and that we, have you got the point? I know you hadn't called the vote. You got to be somewhere by 9:30. I was late arriving. I want to play catch up.
Sorry, this was-
Sorry, Mayor Marston, I was late arriving. I want to play catch up.
Okay, so all in favour that we appoint councillor Gray to be the portfolio lead?
Aye.
Say
Aye.
aye. That's and now we come to the portfolio lead for planning.
could I make a statement to this one?
Yes, of course you can.
I take great pleasure in nominating this person, who has mentioned this, I think this year alone, probably at least. I think it goes without saying that the man who really should lead this portfolio, Colin, I do hope you accept the nomination.
Right, so councillor Plymouth nominates councillor Olds, councillor Gray seconds it. Do we have a competitive nomination? Yes.
Looking at.
Nodding your head.
Words, councillor Olds on this.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Right. Now,
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
we expect fulsome reports regularly.
You'll get lots of those. I can enjoy.
Now, we have one other thing that has slipped off the agenda, because in the process of doing what we've done, we have combined the finance committee and the audit and risk committee. And so we need to nominate a chair for that. And I will nominate Bruce Robertson, who's currently the chair of the audit. Second. Councillor Plymouth seconds that. I have checked that Bruce is happy to be filling in that way, and he is. Is there a competitive application? There's not. All in favour. All in favour of Bruce Robertson being the chair of that committee?
Yeah, aye.
Thank you.
I must admit, I'll miss my finance portfolio, but that's okay. I was pretty happy to part with it into audit and risk.
And now we come to what's noted as recommendation 7, which is that we note the amended terms of reference for council and for committees 2023 to 2025. I will move that we do note that. Do I have a second, please? Councillor Plymouth. Any comments? I have no comments myself. Okay, all in favour of noting the amended terms of reference, please say aye.
Aye. No.
And then lastly, we come to the amended schedule of ordinary meetings, which is appendix 2 on the agenda. Somebody, I think that
I'm happy to move.
thank you. A seconder, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's old slash. Comments?
No, I'm happy with. I've had a read through it.
Right.
Comfortable as long as everybody else is, I guess.
Well, after in about 5 seconds, they'll have to be, won't they? Okay, all in favour of noting the amended schedule, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have come therefore to the end of the agenda, which I think possibly sets some sort of a
Record, I'm sure it does.
at least in the time that I've been chairing meetings here. Just before we go to a concluding karakia, is there anything that anybody else would like to observe or comment on?
This is our last meeting prior to Christmas, is it not?
It is.
Yeah.
Workshop next week.
So we have a workshop here, but just as a formal meeting, I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. I'm sure that comes from the mayor as well, and a happy new year and a safe break, and we want to see everybody back health and
Health and safety.
safely and healthy in the coming year.
Yeah.
Yes, certainly I endorse councillor Zoll's best wishes for the festive season. Yes.
Through Mayor Martin, thank you. I'd just like to say, thanks, to the council staff, and thanks to the colleagues around the table here. We've done late on the year of a 3-year term. It's certainly been, probably more challenging than what I expected it to be, and more work than what I ever expected it to be. But that's, I think, what we've all, I've enjoyed those challenges, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Certainly, I'm happy that I've put my hand up and my head above the parapet. I suppose, perhaps I don't know what everyone else's feelings are, but
Like a sniper's dream.
yeah, it's I've certainly enjoyed it. Enjoyed the challenges, enjoyed working with you all this last year, and 2 years to go. Great, roll on.
Sorry, 1 year, 8 months.
I'm not going down the specifics, but no, thanks a lot to the staff, and thanks a lot to the colleagues here.
Kia ora.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for all of, all of the hard work that's been done. Over our first year of the training, or 15 months. And I just hope that everybody, I just want to send out a huge Merry Christmas from my whānau to yours, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But, thanks. Yes, I'd like to add my good wishes for everyone's and their families for the holiday season staff and councillors, but also to say I feel pretty positive about the next year. I feel pleased with the structure we've got here, and pleased with the new chief executive at the helm leading the team. And I feel like it's going to be very positive next year.
Awesome. Okay.
If you'd like to say something.
Thank you.
Okay, well then we will come to our concluding karakia. Ka whakaere te tapu, ka wātia aiteara. Kia taruki whakataha ai, kia taruki whakataha ai, haumi e tui e tai. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, thank